you start the conversation off in a way that's comfortable and relevant, you're gonna be good, man. Like I can meet anybody under any circumstance or any scenario, and and I know that even if somebody liked the post, there was a point in time I used to do this where when I was really like, I'm just like, yo, I want to have people that I can help, that I can talk to. I don't just want to make something up out of the blue. I want to have some kind of commonality or something to make it make sense. So then in that case is, hey, I saw you've been liking my post recently, or hey, I just saw you like my post. I just want to say I really appreciate it. What did you take away from it? I'll usually say that if somebody watches a training too. I like doing that. Right? What did you take away from it? Okay, cool. Okay, well, what is your goal? Okay, well, what are your challenges? Are you open to feedback? You feel what I'm saying? So in that way, it feels a lot more organic when you're having conversations with people in order to really help them or book an appointment when you're approaching it like that. But all right, so let's just go ahead and dive right in, right? So Taibu, I got my guy Taibu here. We got some history from years back. He's been rocking with me. He's been one of my clients for years. You know, he's a great guy. He's been really impacting and changing a lot of lives, and one of the most coachable people that I've ever met, which is one of the reasons I have a lot of respect for him. So Taibu, welcome, man. Welcome to be part of the coaching, the Coach Blueprint Show. How you feel?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I want everybody to know that I'm excited whenever I'm in contact with Coach T, because it's palpable. Like, he might not want me to say this, but Coach Terrell is like my Malcolm X when it comes to the coaching speaking business, right? Somebody that's charismatic, that knows what he's talking about, and that's never going to lead you astray. Somebody that's going to help you to get past your own personal doubts, fears. He's going to, accountability wise, he not just makes you feel like you can do it, but he reminds you that you should be doing it. And that's the best kind of accountability. So I'm telling you right now, I'm always happy to take part in anything with the playbook and coaching and speaking, especially getting certified. I'm happy to say I'm certified in that I'm a consistent, persistent coach, and I'm doing better financially. A lot of people lose jobs, and I'm telling you right now, they don't know what to do. But when my job passed me over for a promotion, I said, away with thee. Let me go build my coaching community a little bit more strong. So that's what we got going on. I'm happy to be the inaugural guest. I couldn't have seen that coming. So I appreciate you, man. In 2024, Happy New Year to everybody out there. I hope you're still working on your goals.
I love it, man. So for all of us, realize that as we're doing these, right, and my goal is to continue to bring on coaches weekly, so you can learn, and everybody can really get value, because sometimes things hit differently when you hear it asked, a question asked a certain way, or you see somebody else ask something, or you see somebody else going through certain challenges, and you might be like, oh man, I'm going through that right now, or oh, that makes sense. I didn't know that. And so this kind of gives a different way to learn, especially than the different ways that I would normally train or teach. So that's why I'm excited about it. But these episodes that we're going to do, or these different shows, are going to be more, it's going to be more like a fireside chats, right? So, this is my intention of it wasn't necessarily, just to make it the best and the most polished. I kind of want these sessions to be like you're a fly on the wall, right? And I want you to be like, man, if these guys was having a private coaching session behind the scenes, I get a chance to kind of sit back and listen to what these conversations actually look like at a high level. What are they talking about? What are the strategies? What do I need to be focused on? What do I need to prioritize? What do I need to be thinking about? How do I overcome certain mindset challenges? What are certain strategies that I need to overcome or be able to achieve or do? And that is what we're focused on, right? And so I kind of want you guys to be a fly on the wall and learn, listen, comment, and that's really what the show is going to be about. It's going to be more kind of like a fireside chat feel, and it's going to be vibing, just kind of giving you advice based on my experience.
That's how it should be.
within the last decade. So good, man. All right, so let's jump in. Let's dive in, man. So um, give folks the just maybe like a quick background in regards to who you are, who you teach, who you coach, and what problem are you solving?
That part is simple. I'll go with the last first. Uh, if you're having trouble staying motivated, I want you to know that I'm the coach for you. Uh, a 20-year fitness professional. The last 3 years exclusively, I've been online thanks to Coach T and his tutelage, helping people transition from not motivated to achieving their goals quicker than they thought possible. Many of the people that I help have cycled back to the same place. A little bit increase, right back to where they were. A little bit increase, and they didn't realize that something like the EFC gives them the freedom to choose. If you're cycling back to a bad situation or to not being motivated, the EFC workbook, man, it gives you the freedom to choose. The EFC change, it gives you the freedom to choose. So I solve people's issues because honestly, if you want to grow your physical fitness, your financial situation, or your relationship, um, it's going to be a transition. So I provide the perfect transitional support for you because during that process, you have to stay motivated to get it done. And
Love
I'm
it.
the guy for my beginning. I founded Heavenly Bodies back in Madison, Wisconsin in 2009. It was a physical fitness center where I grew up. And now I'm in Arlington, Texas, in the Dallas Fort Worth area. And I just got done with a year and a half of corporate fitness, selling personal training to people at different companies. So now on my own, I'm getting folks back into their homes, design you a home gym, stay at home. I have 1,000 reasons why you should work out at home. It's the best thing for you. Trust and believe. But that's what I'm doing. That was my beginning. As far as my passion, what I want to say is that, Coach, since I met you and to date, 3 years into the game together, the level of need is so great. And sadly, I can't help all of you aren't going to be a good fit for the effort, focus, and commitment workbook or my first step coaching program. But you should try. You should reach out to me and let me know, and we'll see if you are a good fit because there's so much need out there, Coach. We need more coaches.
That's a fact. That's a fact. All right, so let's have some fun. Let's get into it, man. All right, so we were talking a little bit offline too, and I know there's a few different projects and priorities that you focused on this year, right? So so go ahead and share what are one of the biggest challenges that you're looking to overcome right now, or what do you feel needs to be improved that we could kind of formulate our minds around to help you grow.
The main thing for me right now is being overwhelmed. Now that I have the established credibility, now that I have a legitimate crowd base to reach out to, I'm on TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I have the proper pay system, calendar systems. I have everything in order. Now I'm basically overwhelmed with responsibility, and so my work day as a small business owner, my work day, it's not the normal thing that I can do. Like when I was an employee, when I worked assembly, to your point earlier, I'm putting stuff together and pushing down the line. That was the system. When I was doing corporate fitness, it was the inflow of people coming in. They would sit in front of me, and I would hit them with a pitch. But now, because I go from content creation all the way to a client acquisition funnel, I just find myself overwhelmed with responsibility. It's been tough to get them all in one day. So you and I were earlier discussing maybe possibly doing a couple different days a week with just one thing as I become more acclimated and get better with using my systems and integrating things. You can't automate everything. You can't, people. Don't even think you can. So you're going to have to get busy. And I've been so busy, almost too busy, overwhelmed. It's
Love
been
it.
quite the
So let's
challenge.
so let's talk about it. Well, first and foremost, if you ever been overwhelmed, go ahead and drop overwhelmed. But I would rather one that's actually a good problem to have. I'd rather have you say, okay, these are all the things that I want to get done. I know I need to get done, and you just need to prioritize it versus not having anything or not knowing what to get done, and then you're in a constant state of confusion. So that's one. That's actually a good problem to have, right? So But in terms of and prioritization, so there's a few different ways, right? We're talking a little bit about this offline too, right? So you got way number one, which is I got, all of these things that I need to get done. Let's say you got 5 things in a day, you need to get done, right? And I know right now you building a business, you're full time, you're doing things right, but being you could slice your day up into where you do all of the tasks that you need to do separately, right? So you got to create content, right? You may be focused on lead generation and certain things you need to do in terms of follow up, et cetera, right? Maybe sending out emails. You're doing certain things with the podcast. You might have to edit videos. So there's certain things that you're doing, right? And it can get overwhelming, but what I recommend is a few things, right? One, if that model isn't working, you could do theme days. Who did that? I believe it was it well, it used to be the former CEO. I believe it was either Jack Dorsey used to do it, or it might have been Steve Jobs, where they would have themed days, right? So it would be actually I think it was Steve Jobs, where he would have like Monday he would meet with a certain department. He'd just focus on all marketing one day, right? And then it might be all product development like on Tuesday, and right, and basically he had these themes days. So what you could do if you're the type of person that's like, yo, when I'm like working on something, I like to like keep working on it until I get it done, or until I can get like a significant part of it complete or finished, then you might want to look at that, right? You may want to look at it and say, okay, I'm going to focus a lot of my energy on this, or because I have that too. I have content days, right? I have certain days where I'll have not an entire day, because I like to constantly make sure that I'm meeting with people to continually assist them and enroll them in our programs. But from the standpoint of content creation, I have one day a week where I block off like 3 hours and I do nothing but create content, and I'll edit content. And I'm not usually even creating content the whole time. I might create content maybe for like 30 minutes, maybe an hour max, depending on if I'm creating like individual YouTube videos, like an individual YouTube video. And then I might create clips. But now, I mean, there's softwares, there's products for that, to where I could literally create one YouTube video and I can have all the clips done in like 2 hours, right? And so with that, and I mean, I can have the captions, I can have everything done, right? We have tools, today that we can use these things. So we call that batch time, right? Where you're going to be batching your content. So I would definitely say like try that and see if it works. There's certain things that I would say you need to do every day, right? Like just being able to talk to your ideal client and booking appointments. That's one of the things you just need to do every day, right? Like you don't want to just say I'm going to do that for one day, because obviously you got to meet with people. All the people you're meeting with is not necessarily going to be available on the one day that you want to be open. You can't do that, but that might, that'll delay your growth and be able to, and building a business. So I would say that's a priority, but especially anything around content creation, that's not something that you necessarily have to do every day, right? And there might be other areas of the business too that's sucking up time. So that would be one thing that I would say is try those days. Another thing is, are you using a calendar? Or do you use a
Yeah,
calendar?
I have a count. I use Calendly. Yeah, I do.
Oh, do you now? What do you have that tied to a calendar system like Google Calendar, iCal? How do you keep track of your activities for the other day?
So I had to, I'm old school. I'm a 75 baby. So I had to write out what my day should look like. And that's how I came to the part where okay, I'm having issues. So,
Yeah.
one is content creation. I haven't written out. Two is lead engagement. Three is the initial contact, right? And then that all should push them. That's what gets me into my client acquisition funnel, which is booking a
Yes.
call.
Now let me pause you right there for a second, because I,
Yeah.
I want to take you back, because I want to take you back to make sure we put a bow on your first question, right? Because you talked about the
Okay.
overwhelm. I got a lot of things that I'm doing. So
Okay.
with that, I would say try out the theme days that we talked about. Try that out for like a week or two. See how you like it. See if you're being more productive or you're being less productive. Um, have a calendar. Have a use Google Calendar or iCal or some kind of calendar system. The reason, but not necessarily just for booking appointments. Use it to track your day. Use it to track your day. Like if you was hanging out with me all day, you would see like I look at my calendar. I'm looking at my calendar probably like at least once to twice an hour minimum, right? Like every hour I'm looking at it, right? And and I work probably anywhere between 12 to maybe 14 hours a day, sometimes longer than that, right? So I'm doing a lot throughout the day. But so how do I keep track of everything that I got to do in the day? Am I just remembering? Am I writing it down? So I have a planner too that I created. I don't want to push it, but this was more when I was a productivity coach, and I had a planner that's called the Productive Lifestyle Planner. And inside of this planner, I would have like what my targets are for the day, what my priorities are for the day. But the planner is more for clarity of thought than it is tracking and following what I'm supposed to do for the day. And unless you're keeping your planner with you all day and you're looking at it all day and you're carrying it with you everywhere you go, it's going to be hard for you to stay on track with your schedule. And so I like physical planners, but like a planner like this, I mostly use for clarity of thought and strategic thinking. Like, okay, what do I need to be doing today? Okay, what are my top three priorities for the day? Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, well, what are my Okay, well, what are projects are these priorities attached to? Okay, well, if I do these things, like for example, okay, well, if I'm following up with with people who requested my help, or I'm following up with leads, okay, this is leading me to impacting more people. This is leading me to generating more revenue in the business, which is one of my priorities, because one of my major priorities for the year is generating X amount of dollars, right? So that means that all those activities are linked. So then you got to make sure that you have time that you're creating in order to do this activity. But if your day is all over the place because you got 10 things going on and you feel overwhelmed, things are naturally going to slip through the cracks. So that's why I use Google Calendar in the morning, in the evening, every evening and every morning. What I'll do is I'll have I'm always putting things on the calendar. So usually, like let's say if I'm speaking with some folks today, I might book a few people on tomorrow. So then that'll fill up my calendar for the next day. And then I'll say, okay, I need some time to, if I am creating content, I might book some time for content. Or if I have a coaching call with one of my coaches, then I'll have it booked out on a calendar. Or I'll have or if I'm meeting with some of our clients, I'll have that booked out on the calendar, so I can look. So whatever I want to do, I like to have it like, all right, if my day was perfect tomorrow, this is what it would look like. And then my goal is to stick to that as much as possible and anticipate what could happen. Anticipate, okay, well, like I had an example where like my son, he's with his mom now, but he had a daycare, something happened with the daycare where basically the daycare we went to shut down this week. So I'm like, oh, I did not expect that. And I got a toddler, right? He's 3, every 5 minutes
Congratulations.
hungry. He's 30. I appreciate it, man. 3 years in the game now, right? So, he got he's hungry, he's thirsty, he needs that, he needs this, he wants that, he's this, daddy come play with me, this, he want to show me things, right? He got like some building blocks, so he wants to show me the things he's building, and so because of that, naturally that makes it a little bit more difficult when I'm having meetings or when I'm trying to handle certain things, right? So essentially that was something that I couldn't necessarily anticipate. But what would I do? I'm like, okay, well, what could I remove, or what could I reprioritize on my list, because I'm not going to be able to get to everything that I thought I was going to be able to get to this week, right? And but the reason I'm mentioning that is because I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have a calendar. I wouldn't be able to say, okay, this is what I want to get done, but you know what? Now I got to push that. I need a little bit of extra time for this because I never know what crazy might happen. So I need gaps of time just to kind of handle certain things, or to make food, or the lunch, or whatever. Because if it's just me, like I can have a cup of coffee in the morning, and I might not eat till like 3 or 4 sometimes. Like I could just run. Like if it's just, I've trained myself over the years. I've been doing this since 2015. That I've developed the stamina that I can handle. I can handle the stress. I can handle being hungry. I can handle just basically just straight working and handle what I need to do. But it's different if I have him in the house, right?
Right.
I have to kind of slow myself down a little bit. I gotta make more time. There's certain things that I just gotta be able to handle. Thank God he's potty trained, but there was times where, he would potty on himself, and then I'm like, now I gotta take out an extra 30 minutes just to, you know what I'm saying? So these are the real behind the scenes most people don't see, but that impacts your productivity. So I don't necessarily have to feel stressed because I'm like, all right, cool. I know I could just look at my calendar and say, all right, I'm gonna move that. I'm gonna move that. I'm gonna do that later. Damn, I gotta reschedule this call, so let me reschedule. Okay, let me move that. Let me see if I can talk to them 30 minutes later. Can I talk to them 30 minutes sooner? Let's see if we can reschedule that to tomorrow. Let's see if we could bring tomorrow to today. I could. You can't do that if you don't have a calendar,
Can't do it.
right? So that's so the two biggest pieces on that would be one, test out the theme days and see how you like it. Um, there's no right or wrong at the end of the day. It's just about being productive. And then the second biggest thing for you would be utilize a calendar outside of just booking appointments, right? Like utilize a calendar for the different activities, podcast editing, boom, 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 or everything else that you got to do. And it makes productivity and overwhelm a lot. And it's so funny. I had a conversation. Then I know if you have another question, we can answer it. But I had a conversation with one of our members recently, and she actually mentioned the same thing. She was kind of feeling overwhelmed, and she was like, because it's just like a lot of things I need to do. But you know what will relieve that overwhelm is knowing that you're going to get to it. Because sometimes we might have like 10 competing priorities, and because we don't know when we're going to get to it, we feel emotionally like everything has to be done right now. And because we feel like everything has to be done right now, we start to get stressed. We start to get frustrated. That's when we start to procrastinate. Oh, I got all of these things to do. Let me just watch some TV. Let me just talk on the phone. Let me just do laundry. And then we distract ourselves to do other things that may not necessarily be as productive. Or you might be like, oh, well, let me just do something easy. Let me just work on some content. And there's certain things that you should be doing to grow the business. You know what I mean? So when you have a calendar, that allows you to mentally, like, it's like CPU. It's like the CPU on your computer. When you got too many tabs open and you got too many programs open, what happens to your computer? It starts to run slow, right? So when it's
Yeah.
running slow, then guess what? You're not going to be able to get as much done. So it's the same thing when you got too many tasks, too many things processing in your brain. It starts to clog up your productivity instead of saying, okay, I don't even have to worry about this thing because I know I'm going to get to it Thursday. I know I'm going to get to it on Saturday. So I ain't even stressing out on content right now because I know I got to block a time that I'm going to work on content on Friday. And that relieves so much psychological stress. You have no idea.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. I think what I'm suffering from, I was just writing it down while you were speaking because it made sense. And you can tell me how this sounds to you, but this is where I'm kind of at with it. So I have what's called mosh pit phenomena. So what that means to me is I'll go through and start just doing the regular lead flow formula stuff. I got so many social media pages. Let me go ahead and get things popping on this. But then one or two people will sound interested. And while it's hot and popping, I don't want to ignore them if they might be going. You know what I'm saying? So let me get them to the page as quick as possible. So I'm trying to continue to get my 20 messages to my different platforms, right? But this person wants to continue to engage and they sound like they're about it. So it's just like you want to cut them off, but if they're asking good questions, you have to answer them. So now that puts me behind. So when I say the mosh pit formula, so it just two people, literally just two people from Instagram or from TikTok can really want to be engaged and like, really, I never heard of that before. And then now you kind of, so then you have that. Now everything is just kind of stacking on each other, right? I want to send my email out. Then people I message off the whole 20. Say I do my whole 20 for each platform. So people that I message, then now when I'm trying to do my email, I got two from each page. That's 10 people easily that have questions and it's hot and popping. I don't want to ignore them. So now I'm spending, you see what I'm saying? So it's the mosh pit. Then I'm supposed to get on the phone calls. I haven't even sent my email out. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that's how things. So the theme date situation, I have to really figure that out. I've never been in this situation before, but you're obviously doing it pretty well. You understand what I'm saying, obviously. So
Of
how do
course, of course, I've been through it, and And by the way, I got some strategies, but I'm not perfect, right? I don't know if I don't think any of us are ever perfect. You're always going to slip up, even when you have certain things scheduled. This is on my calendar. This is what I'm going to do. I'm focused, right? Then you're still gonna be in a situation where sometimes you will do things that's not necessarily in that time frame. But what I would say is the more that you can stick with this is you want to train. So part of this is about training your brain, right? It's training yourself that I do certain things within a certain time frame. Because if you constantly let yourself let it bleed over, then you're gonna feel in a state of overwhelm. You're always gonna feel like that because like, damn, now I'm late for the next thing, and then I let that bleed over, and then now I'm late for the next thing, and I let that bleed over, and now I'm late for the next thing, and then now you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling stressed out all day, and not even know why you feel stressed out is because you're not giving yourself a deadline. You're not giving yourself a limit. Even if it is clients, you don't want to be bending over backwards, or potential clients even bending over backwards when you have certain things lined up or set up with what you want to do. So usually
Right.
what I'll do if I have like a certain time where I know that I'm following up or I'm reaching out, I'll go ahead and do like I'll have like almost like another follow up period at the end of the day to where I know like, okay, cool. Even if I missed a couple messages and somebody got back to me, I'll come back and I'll put like 30 minutes on my calendar. Like at the end of the day, before I'm like getting ready to call it a night, I'll have like 30 minutes on the calendar, and then I'll go back in and then I'll just respond to everybody. And I'll kind of do it like that. So what that allows me to do is that allow me to kind of do some cleanup work or activities, but at the same time, it doesn't allow things to continue to bleed over and over and over. You know what I mean? So there it is.
Sorry about that. Bay came home.
It's all good. It's all good, man. All right, well, we're getting ready to wrap up anyway. Hope y'all took a lot away from today. Any last questions, comments, concerns, thoughts?
Well, to be direct, like when I'm actually, uh, let's say, emailing out something.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I got a strong email presence, I got a strong, CRM system set up.
Right.
A couple hundred people get the emails, they open them, and they're expecting, right? They're expecting some kind of follow up. Obviously, they open it, they want some kind of follow up. What do you suggest? Like, come right 10 minutes behind it, a couple hours behind it. They open it up. What's a good amount of time? Is it best to jump right on it? What's a good time frame?
I mean, just anything in regards to following up with somebody in a relevant way. The sooner is always going to be the better. Just always
Okay.
remember the rest of your time in coaching. The closer you can get to somebody taking an action is always going to be the better because it's fresh on their mind, right? Let's look at an extreme example. If you're following up with somebody who consumed a resource, is it better to follow with them sooner, or is it better to follow with them a year later? Right? I mean, they may not even remember a year later, right? That's an extreme example, but just so you can see the contrast of it's better if you could follow up 5 minutes later than 5 weeks later or 5 months later. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same
Yeah.
thing. So if somebody opens it up, let's say that's which is a unique strategy. It's a good strategy, right? So somebody opens it up, and as long as you can start the conversation in a relevant way, then they'll be more open to having that conversation with you. You know what I mean? And because they just opened it up, they're going to be more likely to remember because a lot of us we don't remember emails that we open up and read. You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't remember what emails I read earlier today. You know what I'm saying? Like be real, right? We don't be remembering it like that. So especially since that's one of your strategies, like the best for that particular strategy is definitely going to be as soon as you can.
Okay. I really appreciate that.
Anytime, man. Anytime. All right. Anything else? Any last questions, comments, concerns? How you feeling?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. That was good. I just wanted to, to be clear, you broke down the calendar. I have to really work on that and do my research. Everybody, trust me, do your research, continue to learn. So I got to do my research on what's the best calendar option, how to track the day. It's important that you said to track the day. So I know you're big on tracking. So I do want to know how many calls I made, how many leads I send out to. That kind of gets me somewhat. I'm kind of a perfectionist. So
Mm.
when I contact someone, I have to be a little bit lenient with myself. So I'm not trying to write down the name, the date, too much information. When if they engage, they'll get back to me anyway. So I don't have to worry about that. Just get the numbers down of what I'm doing to make sure I'm being productive. So that was something I had to give myself some leniency on. But you're right. The tracking of my day, I definitely need to get my calendar online so I can look at it, stay on point, and try to get
Yeah.
some of this stuff taken care of. I really
I,
appreciate it.
I remember one of my coaches one time too said, I should be able to look at your calendar and clearly see that you're going to achieve your goal. And I thought about that. I'm like, damn, that makes sense. Because I'm like, technically, if you're going to achieve a goal, you should have the steps of what it takes to achieve it, and it should be on your calendar, right? If you building a business towards something, if you're writing a book, I should be able to see on your calendar what times you're gonna be you writing a book. I should be able to see, okay, in 3 months or 6 months, this is the time you plan on, getting a book edited. Okay, I should be able to see this is the time you plan on, self-publishing. I should be able to see the time and the time frame of when the marketing campaign is, right? So I realized, like, oh, all my goals should exist on a calendar, because but the calendar should tell a story. A word shouldn't need a word. You don't have to tell me a word out your mouth what your goals are. You don't got to say a word to me. Just show me a calendar and I can tell you what you're going to achieve and what you're not going to achieve.
Exactly. And that's literally what I have, like, literally in front of me, is just just at least this is, even though I need to have something online, not the physical version, but this
Yeah.
right here helped me out so much to
Mm.
see at least, so I'm not sending out thirsty messages and pushing folks away. That was
Right.
my main. That was what I think I was doing initially. It was I was really was hurting myself by pushing by just jumping right into a conversation with folks without initially saying, hey, this is what's going on, this is what it is, letting them get a feel for it. Right.
Right.
I send a paragraph out when really it should be a simple question. Hey, how you doing today?
Right.
And engage them. So I'm, now that I got more credibility, more things going on, I want people to know more. I got to still scale back and send that little bit of message to engage them to see if they're coming forward. If I build enough value to get them to come forward. I'm
Yeah.
I suffer from that because I want to give them so much right away as soon as I contact them.
I
So
know.
I just gotta stick to what's been working, and let this thing develop that way, because I know I have, if they're going and they really have that need to know that I can hit them with that chunk information that's gonna get them like, oh yeah, this is my guy right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and the big thing too, man, is like the big thing too is, as long whatever way you get in contact with people, it's always about starting the conversation in a relevant way. There's unlimited ways under the sun that you can connect with somebody. I've gotten clients and connected with them at live events. I've gotten clients from sending out an email because of a lead magnet or something that I created. People responded. We had a conversation. It became a client. I've gotten clients through trainings and lives. I've gotten clients through paid advertisements, through anything that you could, any way or method that you could meet somebody. I've gotten somebody through that method or channel or way, through a referral. So, but the main thing is, when you first initiate it, especially if it's through like Messenger or text, is you always got to start in a relevant way for them to really even feel comfortable to have the conversation. Like, I'm calling right now, we're going through a campaign where we're contacting people who've been on my email list for years, right? So imagine you calling somebody, they might not even remember that they joined our Facebook group in like 2022, right? So now I'm calling. It ain't somebody like I see like a regular name who's always joining our trainings or always joining our lives, right? So they might not even remember that they joined the program back then, or joined the group back then. And then when I make the conversation, I gotta start it in a relevant way. right? I gotta say, yo, hey, is this Taibu? I gotta say, oh yes, who's this? Hey, this Terrell, Coach T, host of the Coaching Playbook. You joined our Facebook coaching group. Uh, a little over a year ago, or sometimes I'll say, depending on what month it is. I'll say like the November before last, right? Sometimes,
Right, right.
and I've had some people like, "Wow, man, you just now calling me," and I'll be like, "My bad, man. Yo, we got over 6,000 members in the group. I can't get a chance to, really kind of, call everybody as soon as I can. But what I am doing is, just kind of checkups and wellness checks just to kind of see how your business is going, et cetera, et cetera. Hey, how's the business been going, in the last year? Were you getting clients? Where are you at? Have you created your program? Oh, no, man, I got busy. This, that. But, well, what's the point, though? The point of it is I started the conversation in a relevant way.
Right.
That's really what the point is, right? If I just came out the gate, acting like, I know everything, or just like, yo, let me just or just assume that, we have rapport, you would get a lot of people who could really use the help, but because of how we initiated the conversation, they were a little bit more skeptical or closed off to have, to speaking. You know what I mean? Then
Right.
obviously everybody loses, right? They don't get the
Every
transformation, they don't get the help, we don't get the chance to transform and build. So there's that.
Yeah, that's basically what it comes down to. Is just making sure that they're comfortable and enough to at least, like I said, you don't want to go 0 to 60 on them. It definitely is kind of sketchy for a lot of people. They feel like it's sus, like, oh, you just just whatever. So I'm doing my best now that I have more to offer to scale back and still introduce, hey, welcome to my coaching community. Try to keep it small at first, and if they want to go further, then bring them on in.
Are
But
you
yeah, I
talking
got
about your free coach? What coaching community you talking about? You talking about like you got like a free?
no. So I always refer to my coaching community as the first step coaching. The first step coaching program. If you once you message me and engage, you're part of the coaching community. You're watching my content. You're opening my emails. So I always tell people, thank you for being an active member of my coaching community. Bottom line,
Right.
anywhere you
Got
engage
it.
with me.
Oh, you okay? Okay, that's okay. Got it. It's a term, right? It's like you in my community. I mean, which it is, right? You got an email list, right? You do things for the community. Got it. Okay, yeah, that's 100%, and that
Well,
and
I
that's
mean,
what it is.
it could be more. It could be more official. Don't get me wrong. It's just I feel like anything that I do personally, intentionally, where I put my eyes, Netflix, wherever I go, Hulu, wherever I'm looking at, NFL, sports, whatever. I'm a part of that community. I want to know what's going on. I want to get that content. So I feel in reverse the same way for my business. Wherever you find me at, wherever you engage at me, you watch my posts, you're a part of the community. You want to know how to stay motivated. You want to get these free tips and advice I'm giving out, so you're part of my community. That's how I say it. So
Yeah, exactly.
no.
Especially if you're recurring, right? You're a recurring member. You're kind of coming back, right? So that makes a lot of sense, man. But as long as you start the conversation off in a way that's comfortable and relevant, you're gonna be good, man. Like I can meet anybody under any circumstance or any scenario, and and I know that even if somebody liked the post, there was a point in time I used to do this where when I was really like, I'm just like, yo, I want to have people that I can help, that I can talk to, but I don't just want to make it. I don't just want to make something up out of the blue. I want to have some kind of commonality or something to make it make sense. So then in that case is, hey, I saw you've been liking my post recently, or hey, I just saw you like my post. I just want to say I really appreciate it. What did you take away from it? I'll usually say that if somebody watches a training too. I like doing that. Right? What did you take away from it? Okay, cool. Okay, well, what is your goal? Okay, well, what are your challenges? Are you open to feedback? You feel what I'm saying? So in
Right.
that way, it feels a lot more organic when you're having conversations with people in order to, in order to really help them or book an appointment when you're approaching it like that. But if I just came out of nowhere and I just sent you a message and said, "Hey, are you looking to get coaching? Hey, hey, I saw that you're a you're a business coach. I saw that you're a confidence coach. Are you looking to get some coaching and take your business to the next level?" They're gonna be like, "No, I'm good." I would do the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would do the
Yeah.
same.
No. I mean, I had a guy just do that. Like literally, like like on LinkedIn. It's like LinkedIn will show you who what I'm saying, who looks at your stuff. You know what I'm saying, who engage with your posts. So if you like on my posts and I'm posting stuff about my coaching community, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna reach out to you. So yeah, he definitely was like, well, we must have this mixed up somehow. I don't know what you mean. Like I'm like, nah, bro, you can watch my stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I had to transition real quick. I said, well, look, it'd be great if we would have a podcast together and you get opportunity to share what you do with my audience and I'll do the same. You know what I'm saying? I like the opportunity to happen. Now he wants to play ball. You know what I'm saying? Now he's like, yeah, definitely. Because everybody wants to get in front of a new audience. So I got him with that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, the bottom line was like, yeah, it's like, LinkedIn is pretty crazy. It's just like I'm doing my fundraiser for the Guard Me gear. I'm a tech inventor, everybody, and I'm pushing the Guard Me gear, personal security wearable technology. So it's something that you wear on you that increases your safety and security, right, in the community. And so that's my startup. And so I pushed it on. I put a post on LinkedIn, and I get like 10 people that want to help me push it further. I'm like, dude, just donate. It's doing fine. If you see it, you know what I'm saying? Like, just go ahead and donate. $5 in one it should link one time. That's a simple goal. We can get there. I'm telling myself I have enough viewers. If everybody puts the $5 in and share link one time, we can get there by spring break and break the ground on this thing and get this thing up and running. So it's like they're not hearing me. So I'm like, it's just the craziest thing, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you learn how to let people know, like you said, you're good. Now, if they had a different approach, like you're saying, they might get some action from you. You know what I'm saying? But just to throw it out there, like, hey, I see you're doing something. I can help you do it better. Really?
Right. I don't know. I
Well,
don't
who are
know
you?
you. I don't know your qualifications. We don't have a rapport. I don't even I haven't even followed you. I don't even really know if you're a good dude. I don't know if I can trust you. Like there's so many questions that people have that if you just went straight forward, your conversion rate is going to be low. That's the reason why we put out content. That's the reason we do trainings. That's the reason we put out these things. And when people follow you, they're like, you know what? Somebody will be watching it, be like, yo, these some good brothers right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have a real conversation, raw conversation, about their passion, about business, about growing, about coaching, right? About taking this thing to the next level. And that in itself lends trust. You know what I'm saying? And it's through that trust that, at a later date, somebody might come to me or come to you a week later, a month later, a year later. I had a lady that just signed up with us and she's been following me for like 6 years. You feel what I'm saying? And we just started working together probably maybe 2 months ago. You know what I'm saying? So like that just goes to show like it's the more you continually be known, put yourself out there, continue to show, continue to demonstrate your expertise, the trust, the know, like, and trust factor is a real thing.